Okay, what is the expected output of the following code? We have variable data equals to, no, sorry about that. I think we have a list here, and all these things in list are have a different data type, and this is the name of the list. Okay, so we have a name of the list, data, with all these items inside. This is our index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we want to print data, and we indicate this thing. It's like a coordinates for the list. It's like the address for the list. This is the start, and this is finish. Now we have to determine which one is inclusive, which one is exclusive. I think that this one is inclusive and this one is exclusive. Okay, so that means that in this case, how I see it, we're going to print 1, which is this, because this one is 0, index. These are all indexes here. So we're going to print index 1, and index 3 would be this one, but this one is not included. So the first one included, first index, this one is included, and 3 is like a limit, but it's not printed. So we're going to only print these two indexes, and the value of those two indexes is going to be 404 and 3.03. And here you go. This is the right answer. Let's see what they have to say about this. Peter, blah, 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 but you have a list of 5 elements. Yep. Of various data types. That's what I said. It's easier for me right now to say things. Excuse me. Because I already done it. So 1, 3. Slice is inclusive, the first, and exclusive, the third. Okay? Meaning that splices the first and second index. Slices the first and second index. They mean like it will include first and second indexes. Okay, here's the input-output question. What is the expected output of the following code? I answer this: name, file, data, text. Peter Wellert. Hello, everybody. Okay, so let's look at this code and see what it does. Try to run it. Data, text, Peter Wellert. Hello, everybody, and blank lane here. So let's break it down. Let's try to break it down on our own and see. Then later on, see what they have to say about this. File. We have a file variable, which is going to store this open data txt file, and this here means we're gonna write to file. Let's Google this and see what W plus really means, because once I've learned this, and now I'm getting like cold feet, and I'm like, I'm not sure. Opens file for reading and writing. Opens file for reading and writing. If the file already exists, it is truncated, and otherwise a new file is created if it doesn't exist. The file pointer in this mode is placed at the starting point of the file. File pointer is placed at the starting point of the file. I suppose like inside the file, obviously. Hello? Yeah. So we are creating data text.txt, and we're going to open it. We're going to print name of the file, file.name. Okay. This variable is going to have this string here. Then we're gonna write this string to file. Then we're gonna find this at the index 0, that means from the very beginning of the file. And then we're gonna do the for loop for line in file, print line. So we only gonna have one line there, which is this right here, and we're gonna print out the file. It's gonna print out the this thing here and this thing here. And also it's gonna be, because we requested here just for the heck of it. I mean, this part of code would get printed anyway, I suppose. Even if we remove this code, I think it will be printing this file anyway. Let's check. Yeah, you see, it prints this by definition, even without the rest of the code. But if we add this code to it, it will just basically put this inside the file. We'll write this into the file as this here, and not only will write it to the file, we'll store it into the memory location right here, S, right? And then when we'll look for it in the file in the beginning, we'll find it. And what it says here, see this N here with a backslash? It means it will print this on a new line. So that means it will skip the line, apparently, here, and it will print like a Cookie Monster. Hello, everybody. I don't know if I did it right, but it's too early. My voice is still not strong. So, and then we close the file. So that's that, and let's see what they have to say about that. Obviously, if I didn't do it like with the compiler, probably I wouldn't figure it out. I don't know if it's cheating or not, but I'm still practicing. I don't know what the real test is going to look like. I hope they're going to allow me to use the compiler, because that's going to be an easy peasy, thing to do. I've never taken an exam like that, so when I take it, I can make another video about me taking an exam, but for now, I have no idea how it's going to go down. Let's just look at the explanation. Open with the mode W+, which means that open for reading and writing the file. For writing and reading, it says right here, for writing and reading. I would put it for reading and writing, but maybe this person, English issue. If the file does not exist, it will create one. Okay, just like we looked up on the internet. First, something gets written in first, comma, something gets written into the file. Something gets written into the file. That's a good one. Something. Then, comma, the file pointer gets set back to the beginning, which is poor explanation for this thing right here. Okay? Because they should put this also in here. And then, comma, the file gets iterated line by line by the for loop. Okay, so good. All right, next. What is the expected output for the following code? For datetime, from datetime, import date. So what we're doing here, datetime is a module, and we're yanking out of there, importing the current date or whatever date it is. I think it's any date. It's not current date, because for current date I think there's another call for that. There's another parameter that we have to put in here. So anyway, it just tells us it's going to be date data type. So we have date 1 data type. This is conversion, and that's how the compiler will know that this is getting converted to date, and stores that data into the date 1 variable right here in this format. Now, same thing happens here. This date here stores, gets converted from string to date data type, and stores it into the date _2 variable. And all we do here, we just print interval between these two dates. This hyphen means we're going to print how many, the time interval between these two dates. And apparently it's going to print it in a certain format, which I don't have any clue how to remember this other than just remember this format here. Just days is going to give us a number of days, then comma, and then it's going to give us like how many hours and how many minutes and how many seconds. In this case, it gives us precisely the interval between these two dates right here in this format. So let's see what they have to say about this in their broken language, in broken English. If you subtract one date object from another date object, which obviously we going to, okay, you know what, I did not understand it correctly. This is where I am making a mistake, which is this hyphen here is a minus sign. We do not actually subtract. We do not actually go from this date to this date. Technically we are, but this is going to be the later date. And let's take a look at the code. 92, obviously it's a later date. So this is the bigger number here. Obviously 1992 is bigger than this number. So basically we get the difference here. We get the difference between these two parameters in here. So we do subtract this date from this date. This is not an interval. It is an interval, but to get to that interval, we have to subtract bigger later date from the earlier date to get the difference. And that's what it prints. And that's why we get 345 days, a little shy of a year, with a comma and time 00, because we did not mention time in these two parameters here. It was not specified. That's why it automatically sticks 0000 time into this answer. Very good. When you then print the time delta, the difference object, time delta, yeah, you will always get the output with days and hours. So that means that by default we didn't have to specify any hours here or seconds. You'll just smack it straight up here with because see right here, that was the whole question. We have, it will tell us that this is number of days and this is the time. Okay, good, enough about this. Let's go to 44. Data types. Again, data types. I love data types. The value 30.11 times 10 raised to the power of 9. 30.11 times. I could write it in like 30.11 times 10 raised times 10 raised to the power of 9. Yeah, okay. I know that I have learned that like century ago, that E equals raised to the E is times 10. Times 10, just by definition, this capital E means times 10, because lowercase e is just the numbers, is like 2.27 if I remember, something with like lots of digits after decimal point. So yeah, okay, so basically we have 30.11 times 10 raised to the power of 9. And all they're asking us is to recognize the notation. It's a scientific notation, if I remember correctly. Just to prove me right, let's get on the internet and Google 30.11 E9, and let's radio. Oh. That's not what I wanted. Come on, Google. What does E9 means in math? Not E9 lowercase. Here, times 10 to the power of 9. And it is scientific notation. See? I learned that 27 years ago and I still remember. It is a scientific notation. That's all I wanted to figure it out. That raised to the it is scientific notation. Okay, cool. So I'm good. Let's see what they have to say about it. Very tiny. One phrase. You could replace the E by 10 times 10 and raise to the power. Wonderful. You don't need English for that, I guess. You just put 2 stars in there. Which of the following variable name is illegal? Well, I know that. Okay, you see the answer here, in. Okay, because this, what is it called? Thing, you forgot what do you call this? In operator. I think it's an operator. It's used in SQL, and it's used in Python. It's used in many languages, from what I remember, as a keyword. That's what it is, the keyword. Okay, so everything else is pretty much would be legal. And let's say if you want to, let's give it a try. Okay. Let's give it a try. Okay, I'm gonna just try this here. I'm going to get rid of all this. Let's say we want to assign some value to in. So we're gonna go in. See, it marks it as purple in my compiler. It marks it. That means that this thing cannot be called a variable. We cannot assign it like 34. We can't. See, invalid syntax. Okay, so as soon as we add something to it, like anything, or we use like in, anything other than lowercase ins, we can add underscore in front. That would definitely try to make it a constructor. But in this situation, anything other than in, because in means it's a logic. You know, I'm not going to discuss it because I frankly I don't remember exactly. You know, I took 8 weeks of programming, out of which 7 weeks were intensive Python learning, and the last week was just like, oh, just you're almost done, so you don't have to do much. So that's how I learned Python in 7 weeks. So basically, yeah, anything other than lowercase I, lowercase n would work for Python as not a keyword. I'm not even going to go through explanation. Like, I'm just curious. We can definitely go through just one text here. Here are some rules for naming variables in Python, blah, blah, blah. A variable name must start with a letter, underscore, character, or any. Cannot start with a number, cannot start with a number. That's a good point here, because we may want to remember variable name cannot start with a number. Okay? And underscores cannot start with, that's why I was trying to get me a conductor. Variable names are case sensitive, so obviously if we change the name from lowercase I and to uppercase I, it will just take it, it will accept it as a variable. Okay, so that's that. Move on to the next video.